This week we are going to create a dialogue or a debate in Scratch. So the first thing you need to do is you need to have a background that you're going to pick. So maybe I'll pick the bedroom. And then what you want to do is you want to pick a second scene where they can go to for the second part. So you have two backgrounds here. You have, if you go to backdrops, you have the first one here, and then you have the second scene where they'll go to later. So we'll talk about that as I do the video. So you have your cat here, and then you need to pick who else you want to be in the debate. So I have a football player. Here we go, I'll do football player. So now I got my football player, and if he's facing the wrong way, you just go to costumes and you could flip them this way. And that way they're talking to each other. So now I got a cat and a football player, and they're talking to each other. And if you want to add other people in there, you could go to people and see if there's anybody else that you want to add. Maybe you want to add another guy in there. So now you got a few people in the scene. Next thing we have to do is we're going to code the cat. So I'll put the cat here, sprite 1. And if you don't have any motion blocks, it's that you have to check on them down here. So check on who you want to talk to. So I'll have the cat. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do events when clicked. And what do I want to do? I want to start the scene in the bedroom. So I'm going to say looks, and I'm going to say after we start our code, we're going to start with the this is called bedroom 3. So now when we click the flag, they're going to start in the bedroom. Now what I want him to do is I want him to glide. So maybe I want him to go motion. I want him to go to this part over here, and then I want him to glide. I want him to glide 1 second too. And there's a few things you can do. You can put in a code number here. Like maybe I want him to go like this. 579. Maybe I'll put 5 here, and I'll put -179. So now when I click the flag, he goes in like that. Or something else you could try is you could have him say glide 1 second to football. So now when he comes in, he glides to the football player. But sometimes that's a little bit off, so that's why I don't use that. I use this one instead. But anyway, so now he glides in. Now, the next thing we want him to do is we want him to talk to the football player. If you use these ones here, it says it, but there's no sound. We actually want sound. So we're going to go down here to extensions. You have to add the extension in, and I'll show you that again. The plus down here, add the extension, use the plus. Text to speech. Okay, so you go down here, and then you add the text to speech. I'll show everybody again. You go to the blue down here, and then you go text to speech. So now you have these extra blocks here, text to speech. And what type of voice do you want them to do? So you could say set voice to whatever type of voice you want. You can set the language if you want to do that too. Then we want him to say something. So what you want them to do is you want them to make a debate. So maybe he could say, I think soccer is the best sport, or I think homework is the best. Sometimes what I do is homework. They should not have homework. Kids should not have homework. Or you can make it up something else. I think chocolate milk should be banned in school. A lot of kids did that. You could say, I think football is the best sport, or I think soccer is the best sport. And then the other person gives the other point of view. So we're going to have the cat say, we'll do about homework. He should say, homework should be decreased so that children can exercise. Okay, so now when I click my code, the cat goes here.
Homework should be decreased so that children can exercise.
Okay, so we want the cat now, when he comes in, now it says it out loud. Now we want the football player to speak. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to still be on the cat, and we're going to go to control, and we're going to go to broadcast. I'm sorry, that's an event. We're going to go to events, broadcast, and we're going to go broadcast. And instead of message 1, we're going to say new message, and we're going to call it first line. So what happens is the football player has to wait. So the football player is here, and he's waiting for when to speak. So the cat does all this code, and then he broadcasts. It says first line. Now we go to the football player, and the football player is going to have when I receive first line. See, it pops up for us. So what do you want to happen after the cat says the first line? We want the football player to speak. So we go here, set voice to. You can set his voice to a different one if you want, giant. And maybe we want him to say, what is he going to say? Homework is very important. It gives extra practice. Now, you don't have to do it like I'm doing it. You could come up with your own topic. So let's see how it goes. So he's going to run his code, and then when he gets to this point here, this sends a message to the football player. Once he gets this, it's almost like playing tag. Once this one goes, then it sends it to the football player. Now he could speak, and he's going to do this.
Homework should be decreased so that children can exercise.
Homework is very important.
Okay?
It gives extra practice.
So now he's got that. Now what do we want to do? We want to go to events, and we want to go broadcast. And what's he going to do? He's going to broadcast a new message, and we're going to call it second line. So he broadcasts second line, and then guess what? The cat now is going to have when I receive second line. Okay, so what do you want to happen when he does second line? He's going to say something. He's going to go to his text-to-speech, and he's going to say, exercise is so important. We cannot risk our health. We need to exercise after school. Okay, so now we have it. They go back and forth again.
Homework should be decreased so that children can exercise.
Homework is very important. It gives extra practice.
Exercise is so important. We cannot risk our health. We need to exercise after school.
Now what's he going to do next? After the cat talks about, the importance of homework, what he's going to do is he goes to events and he goes to broadcast.
Homework
Oh,
is very
I'm sorry, I
important.
pressed the
It's very
wrong.
important.
Click the wrong one. He's going to broadcast, and he's going to broadcast what? He's going to broadcast the third line. Okay, now the kids sort of know what to do at this point. He broadcasts the third line. Then the football player is going to have when I receive the third line. What's he going to do? He's going to say, children, maybe you could say children can exercise. Children can exercise after they do their homework. Okay, so now we got them go back and forth.
Homework should be decreased so that children can exercise.
Homework is very important. It gives extra practice.
Exercise is so important. We cannot risk our health. We need to exercise after school.
Children can exercise after they do their homework.
Okay, so now we have our cat, and he's going to have, after he has the third line here, the football player speaks, right? The football player speaks here. What we need to do is we need to end the debate. So we'll wrap it up like, okay, let's drop the topic. So then we'll put something like this. We'll put this here, and he's going to say, let's drop the topic and have some fun. We can go to the park to exercise and do our homework. Okay, so he's going to say, let's drop the topic. Let's go to the park and do homework. So what they're going to do now is they go to looks, and they're going to switch backdrop to the bench with a view. So let's look at this now.
Homework should be decreased so that children can exercise.
Homework is very important. It gives extra practice.
So this is broadcast.
Exercise is so important. We cannot risk our health. We need to exercise after school.
Children can exercise after they do their homework. Let's drop the topic and have some fun. We can go to the park to exercise and do our homework.
And now it switches to the park. Okay, so now they're at the park. And then we could add one last thing to the cat if you want. If you want to say events, and you could say when backdrop switches to bench with a view, maybe he could say, let's dance. Oh, say let's dance. And then he can do control, and he can wait 1 second. And then, if you want, they can. You don't have to do this like me. You could just. I'm just making a little simple dance here, but you could have them dance if you want and glide side to side, however you want to do it, and move 10 steps. And then he can control weight. 0.1. And then what you could do is you could duplicate this. Let's see if we can control duplicate. And now you got this under here, and then just make this negative 10 steps. Okay, and let's see. If you want to add anything for the football player, what you could do is you could take this here, and you could drag this over to the football player over here. And then what we have this one here when the backdrop switch, and we'll make him do a different dance. We'll have him do a turn instead. Instead of this, he could just do a turn. So motion, he can do a turn, and he can do a turn. And we'll put that in here. I'll put a turn in here. So now we have a little dialogue here, and we use our broadcast, and the cat speaks. And then we have our setting here. And then after we have broadcast first line, the football player says he waits for broadcast first line. Then he speaks. Then he broadcasts second line. Then the cat speaks. They go back and forth. And then we switch we switch our background. And then we have when the background switches, they will do their dance. So let's take a look at the whole thing from the beginning, and then we'll wrap it up.
Homework should be decreased so that children can exercise.
Homework is very important. It gives extra practice.
Exercise is so important. We cannot risk our health. We need to exercise after school.
Children can exercise after they do their homework. Let's drop the topic and have some fun. We can go to the park to exercise and do our homework.
Okay, so this is something that I came up with. You do not have to do this topic. You could talk about something else. Maybe, what's the best sport, or maybe if they should change the lunch menu, or whether chocolate milk should be banned in school, whatever you want to do. Or if you could just have something else about a little dialogue or debate. But what I would like is to have 2 characters speaking with the broadcast blocks, and I also would like a change of scene. So that's our project for this week in Scratch.